Hey, good afternoon, everybody. And I'm really excited about this particular press conference today because this is about us moving from planning to execution. A lot of what our next term is going to be about will be precisely that. But I can't think of anything more profound or important for us than the city's involvement in what we're going to do to help create housing. So we've got some special guests here today, and I want to make sure I welcome them. First of all, Alana Kobayashi from Kobayashi Development, Stanford Carr Development. We have Chris Fong from Trade Wind Capital. Where's Chris? He's in the room. There he is. He's back there. We have Kevin Carney from Affordable Housing Solutions. Been a long time great advisor to us. And if I'm not mistaken, Garrett Matsumanami's in the room from Castle and Cook. We know Harry would like to be here, but you're here, Garrett, which is great. Look, Kevin Auger, who's our Director of Housing, has a lot to share with you. I really want him to be the focal point, what he says. But I would tell you right now, we firmly believe that the housing problems are solvable. It's going to take the kind of collaboration that we've begun. It's going to take bold thinking. It's going to take innovation, and that's a lot about who we are. So I'm very anxious for Kevin to share that information. I'm here today really to just introduce him, but we look forward to not only his presentation, but any questions that you might have, any discussions that we might take place. This is an important moment for us. It's one that I have personally anticipated for some time to get this moment in time so we could share this with you. So without any further ado, I'd like to bring up Kevin Auger, our Director of Housing.
Thank you, Mayor. Aloha, everyone. Kevin Auger, Executive Director, Mayor's Office of Housing. Thanks for being with us today. The housing plan that we just released last Friday is the boldest initiative that the city has undertaken to address our affordable housing crisis in over 25 years. It provides a roadmap outlining direct actions that the city will be undertaking to facilitate the production of housing on Oahu. But more than that, it represents a fundamental shift towards a proactive housing delivery model that emphasizes execution, public-private collaboration, and strategic investment. The mayor and his leadership team have made it clear that in the second term of the administration, they want to do more, they want to do it faster, and they want to do it better. And this plan provides specific, actionable, and measurable steps that the city will be undertaking to deliver and develop more housing and to deliver it faster and better. The most significant of these include driving and activating transit-oriented development, partnering to expand housing production, engineering creative financing solutions to expand housing supply, reorganizing the city's housing functions to support and drive execution, and data-driven review of housing policy and process improvements that we can continually make. Skyline is now a reality. The first segment has been activated. The second segment is scheduled to open by the fall of 2025. The third segment the contract has been awarded, and rail cars should be rolling through downtown by 2021. Driving future development towards transit-oriented development areas along the rail is a central component of not only the city's primary urban center plan, but our housing plan. TOD development concentrates growth and density in the primary urban areas without encroaching on rural areas. The city's been developing transit-oriented development plans over the last decade that have been subject to a robust community engagement process and have been approved by the City Council. With the commencement of rail operations, the administration is aggressively moving to activate TOD areas with an immediate focus on the future Eveleigh area and the Kauai Skyline Station. Significant state and city land holdings in this area create a unique opportunity to deliver a catalytic, world-class, mixed-use TOD project. We believe that conservatively, that area can support 1,500 to 2,000 housing units. That's directly located adjacent to Chinatown. It's within a walking distance of downtown. This is an area where folks can live, work, and play, and reduce their dependency on automobiles, reducing the cost to support them. DLM Director, or Department of Land Management Director, Catherine Tashner, and her team acquired the Eveleigh Center last January. This is a 4-acre site that will be the first phase and cornerstone of this transformative project and we have an aggressive goal to break ground on this redevelopment by 2028. We want to be in the moving business, not the storage business. Partnering with the development community, and there's several of them here in this room today, is a central component of the city's housing plan. One coveted asset that the city brings to the table in the housing equation is the use of public lands for housing development. We have identified 10 properties existing in the city's portfolio that combine total about 35 acres. We believe conservatively those lands can accommodate close to 2,600 housing units, including the Evil Center development. To move these properties into development, we're committed to issuing requests for qualifications to secure development partners for all of these properties in calendar year 2025. Partnering with experienced developers is crucial to ensuring successful delivery of high-quality, long-term, affordable housing options. The first request for qualifications included a portfolio of 4 properties, and that was issued just last Friday. We welcome proposals from any and all of these properties that embrace innovative design and long-term affordability. We also have 2 ground leases in our pipeline that have already been awarded that will provide approximately 175 affordable housing units. Engineering creative financing solutions is another key strategy of our plan. When we look at the financing options available to the city to develop housing, they're surprisingly limited. They include the city's Affordable Housing Fund, general obligation bonds, and private activity bonds combined with low-income housing tax credits. The Charter Affordable Housing Fund, which is the city's housing fund, is our most flexible resource. However, it only generates about $8.5 million to $9 million a year. And that translates roughly to approximately 16 to 18 units of new construction, which is very small. General obligation bonds can be used to acquire land and buildings, but they're not very flexible for developing housing. Private activity bonds paired with low-income housing tax credits are our most important resource for financing affordable housing, but they're also extremely limited. But we have 2 private activity bond financings scheduled to close this year in April and May, totaling approximately $140 million that will support and finance a total of 430 housing units. And we're very excited about that. But that's about the maximum that we can build in any one year, giving that resource. To accelerate the delivery of housing, it'll be essential that we develop alternative financing options to support development. With help from the city's bond council, we're currently reviewing and investigating several models that use taxable multifamily revenue bonds, and we're determining the feasibility and potential application to the city of those various financing structures. But to seriously attack our housing challenges, we need a robust platform to do that. The city's not had a centralized housing function for nearly 3 decades. When the mayor took office in 2021, there was 1 person in the housing office, 1 person to support a population of nearly 1 million. We're building a platform that will pull together more than 50 professionals to attack this wicked problem. We're building a platform that the mayor announced in his State of the City last year that will combine homeless functions and supportive service functions in the Department of Community Services, and will consolidate all housing functions under an expanded Department of Land Management and renaming that department the Department of Housing and Land Management. Major features of the new platform include establishing 3 new divisions, one that will focus on housing development, one that will focus on housing finance, and another that will focus on housing policy. We've been finalizing the reorganization for the last several months. We're currently in union consultation. A resolution for city council approval has been drafted, and we hope to deliver that to council within the next few weeks, and clearly, hopefully, before the end of the month. One of the questions that we also always ask ourselves is what's working, what's not, and what needs to be changed. The city made exceptional progress last year on policy initiatives, including Ordinance 25-2, which amended the land use ordinance, Ordinance 25-3, that allowed adaptive reuse, Ordinance 24-23, which provided support for Bill 7 projects, and Ordinance 23-29, which allows self-certification. But so much more needs to be done. Working in partnership with the Economic Research Organization of the University of Hawaii, we'll be conducting a top-down, data-driven review of all city rules, ordinances, and legislation regarding housing to understand what's working and what's not, and how we can simplify rules to deliver housing faster. Our first kickoff meeting of that review is next Tuesday, so we're not wasting any time in this effort. An excellent example of data-driven approach is the Subsidized Housing Explorer that the Office of Housing, in partnership with UHERO, just launched about a month ago. This is a first-of-its-kind effort and a first-of-its-kind tool that consolidates data on all government-subsidized housing units across Oahu. The centralized interactive database tracks more than 35,000 cost-restricted units across 332 properties that are subsidized by more than 50 government subsidy programs. This information is broken out by City Council District, which will be an important tool that will provide critical insights to support effective policymaking decisions going forward. In closing, the Blangiardi administration is determined that the city and county must take a more direct and active role in the development, financing, and execution of affordable housing. We need to ensure the availability of housing for Oahu's residents across income spectrums, and we need to stem the trend of out-migration driven by Honolulu's high costs of living and housing. We believe that implementing these strategic measures will provide a solid foundation for these goals. The plan can be found at honolulu.gov/housing. It's honolulu.gov/housing. In addition to the strategic initiatives that we just discussed, the plan also includes some excellent information regarding obstacles and barriers to the development of housing, which provide a framework for the uninitiated. And it also includes an extensive appendix section that provides compelling socioeconomic and demographic data that will provide important insights for our continuing work related to refining housing policy. A bunch of folks in the room that we'd like to thank: Stanford Card Development, Alana Kobayashi, the Kobayashi Group, Kevin Carney, and Affordable Housing Solutions, who helped put this plan together. And we'd also like to thank Don Takuchi Apuna and the Department of Planning and Permitting and her staff for their help, Anton Krucky from the Director-Designate Anton Krucky from the Department of Community Services and his support and help, our staff at the Office of Housing, and obviously the mayor and his leadership team. Thank you very much. I think we're going to invite up Councilmember Wire. Vice Chair Wire.
I'm now introducing Councilmember Matt Wire and also Tyler. Sure, right, Tyler? Thank you, Tyler, for being here. Appreciate it. Tyler goes ahead to stand.
Mahalo. Thank you, Mayor. Do want to just extend great thanks to you for really bringing together such an amazing team and really allowing for such great collaboration on what I think we all recognize is the crisis of our lifetime. You know, you so astutely recognize the wicked problems that the city is facing, and I think our housing crisis is at the top. And echo the mahalos as well for Stanford, Alana, Garrett, Chris, Kevin, Perry, for being a part of that. I think that really is a testament to Mayor's leadership, bringing in folks, you that are the experts and can help guide the city on how to better meet the needs of our community. And of course, Director Krucky, Apuna, Director Tashner, for joining in and supporting the work of our housing director, Kevin Ajay. So appreciate the work you're doing on this as well. And also wanted to mahalo our former director as well that put some work into this, Denise Isari Matsubara. Really is a team effort, and I think that's shown here today, right? Just the ability to come together. When you look at the plan, you see what I think many of us already know, right? We affirm just the challenges our families are facing. We see the cost burden that families across all income levels face. We see the need for resources at all parts of the spectrum, from non-congregate shelter to low and moderate income households to market rate units. And we see the need to address the out-migration. It's not just affecting our families, but it's affecting our workforce. And so this plan is the foundation. Like I said, it provides a lot of great areas that we can work together with community, with stakeholders, with the administration. Appreciate the work of our council colleagues. Councilmember Dos Santos Tam, who has put a lot of work into the urban infill legislation, both the pre-construction grant program or post-construction grant program, and of course Bill 31 that we hope to wrap up in a few months with the pre-construction grant program. Of course, we're recognizing that we want to both provide housing opportunities, but also provide opportunities for folks, particularly our kupuna, to age in place. And so how do we keep folks in homes while also providing homes for the next generation? And so that, of course, includes looking at like the down payment assistance program that we co-introduced with Councilmember Cordero that's currently before the council, and we're grateful for Department of Community Services and Budget and Fiscal Services for working with us on standing up that program. Of course, looking at the cesspool grant program we just introduced with Chair Waters to support folks who are living in homes faced with increasing costs and don't have the capital or the resources to comply with all these mandates that come down from the federal government, from the state government, even the county government. I know our goal is to lessen them, right? And so I think a lot of what we see in this plan also is how we can work with the community to make processes clearer, more prescriptive when appropriate, so that plans can be developed to start projects and there's a clear path so we can get them up as quickly as possible with as few financial barriers as possible. Because I think at the end of the day, all of us share a love for this community, for Oahu, and we want everyone to have access to housing. And so I'm super excited to be at the council in this moment in time, understanding, I think, as we all know, we're only here for a very brief moment. And so grateful for having the opportunity to be able to work with the administration and the council on this. And I'm hopeful, but we do have a lot of work. But hard work is good work. So thank you again.
Well, I'll just wrap it up. Let's say I'm also hopeful, but I'm also confident as well. There's an old axiom in team sports that says that great things happen when nobody cares who gets the credit. And as you can see in this room today, not only do we have some of the best developers in the state, if not, we've got the support of City Council. You heard what Kevin outlined. As I said at the outset today, we're moving from planning to execution. I'm excited about that. And at the base of that was the fact that once we realized just how much was in front of us, we were determined to do something about it. It's not about winning and losing. It's about you refusing to accept defeat. And we were defeated, quite honestly. As you heard Kevin say, the city hasn't had a Senate approach in more than 3 decades. To come into office in the middle of a pandemic and find only one person in charge of not only housing, homelessness, was a statement to me about where the priority was with respect to this crisis that has been plaguing our city, both of those, for decades. So I'm really proud in this moment, proud of everybody that's part of this effort here. We've got a lot of work in front of us, there's no doubt about it, because we're making up for a lot of lost time. But we are determined on a going forward basis, understanding how profound this is, how important it is to our society, to our people, to do everything we possibly can. And in that, I am confident that the right people are involved in this, and we're going to make great things happen. So with that, I want to turn it over to any questions of Kevin and Matt. I'm here certainly, but I'm just telling you, I waited for this moment. It's taken us a while to get here. The planning of this was extensive. To put things together the way we had to put together, where there was really nothing, is not that easily done. And so that's what it's been about, and now we're in that mode. So with that, Kevin, you're back up here. If anybody has any questions, I'll certainly answer anything.
Hi. Sure, please. Hi.
Should we assume that the Evilay project is the Sentinel project that we should watch to measure? Because I'm not hearing measurables.
Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot of data talk and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing measurables.
So how do you define measurable? I can answer that question for you.
So my question is, you said that the Evilay project, you expect you might have groundbreaking by 2028.
Yeah.
Why 3 years?
Because it's aggressive. You have to, it takes a long time to get a development out of the ground in Hawaii.
Why?
It really does. Environmental review, planning and permitting, development, getting your financing together, and most importantly, getting in line for low-income housing tax credits if you're building affordable housing. We have very limited. When you look at the private activity bonds and low-income housing tax credits, that combination, and we look at the last 5 years, that program is administered by the Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation. That limited resource only delivers less than 1,000 units a year on average. So every developer, including those in this room, that are out looking for financing for their affordable housing developments has got to get in line at the HHFDC. And what we've said, what's different about our plan, what's new about our plan, is that we're suggesting that we don't want to wait in line. We have land assets that can support housing, but we want to help the HHFDC and find creative ways to help finance those as well. And that it's doable. It's something that's doable, but it takes a long time to get a project done. Just as an example, I worked at the HPHA and worked on the master planning for the Mayor Rick development. We started that project in 2017. We're hopeful that it will come out of the ground in 2027. 10 years. So the aggressive plan that we've put together to begin development at Evilay is exactly that. It's very aggressive. And we're going to get on it. We're going to do it faster, better, and as quickly as we can.
So you don't have financing lined up for you?
Oh, no, you wouldn't do that until, once you've got your environmental, so the first step in the process is master planning. And so we'll master plan an area that, around the Skyline Station that's approximately 18 acres. And that area can be roughly defined as Dillingham Boulevard, South King, Evilay Road, and Cooley. When you add all that up, it's about 18 acres. The city currently owns 7 acres with the acquisition of Evilay Center, 445 South King, and existing land holdings and streets that we had in that area. But it's a really obsolete plat. But while we were acquiring Evilay Center, we looked at what we owned there, and then we looked at the state land holdings. That totaled roughly 75% of the whole area. And we thought, this is an area that we could master plan. It's right on a rail station. The rail comes right down Broadway, right through the middle of it. So we have an opportunity to really deliver, as I mentioned, a world-class facility there. We recently worked with HART to reorient the train station so that now it basically, it's directed towards the Evilay Center site. As part of the contract with Tuda Perini, they've agreed to provide us at no additional cost stub outs so that we can have pedestrian platforms at the guide rail level, one that will lead directly into the future building. It's only 60 feet away. We're working with the Oahu Metropolitan Planning Organization to provide a multimodal hub right at the building, right base of the building, right underneath the station. So all of that, we anticipate we'll be able to deliver hopefully around 2030, 2031, when the cars are actually rolling through town.
So what about this makes this process happen faster?
We're pivoting. In the past, with one person in the Office of Housing, we were really focused on policy making. What rules can we change to make the process faster? What ordinances can we change to make the process faster? In this instance, we're actually rolling up our sleeves and saying, we want to be in the business. We want to work directly with development partners. What can we bring to the table? And land resources is one significant element of that. The second is financing. How can we activate rail TOD areas now that the rail is live? How can we look ahead to that? How can we build communities that will be transformative? That Evilay area has been an underserved community for decades. And it's an opportunity for us not only to change that, but also deliver, as I mentioned, 1,500 to 2,000 units of affordable housing in that area.
So just my final question, I apologize, I might have got it on the wrong side of the current process. So
Sure.
your goal here is to be meeting the time frame of HART with actual units that are there about the same time.
That would
If you
be-
built these units earlier, people would have to have cars, it would be different.
Yeah.
I mean, these things are absolutely integrated together, so you have to time things that way anyway, and you're saying the timing does work out for that.
The timing's perfect for us. And that's the whole goal of transit-oriented development. You're right there at the rail, you're building housing and community around those stations so people can live, work, walk, and play, without having to get in their car.
The folks that want to move in potentially, it's a long way
It's a long way off. It would be, we don't even have a program yet for how many units, what type of units, the levels of affordability, et cetera. That would happen once you've got your construction drawings put together, you have a better sense of what's in play.
Can I add something?
Sure.
if you don't mind?
Yeah.
Stay up here, stay with
Yeah.
me, because you're the smart guy. Look, we're not doing this alone. As we've said a couple of times now today, we've got some incredible developers in the room. A lot of what we've been about, and Don Takeuchi Apuna is here from DPP, which was a great barrier to entry, if you will, for developers historically, is we're not doing this alone. Admittedly, we're talking about TOD, the reality of real creating housing along those lines, especially in Evilay. In fact, that $51.5 million that we spent to buy Evilay Center was the largest acquisition in the city's history. And before that, we bought Waikiki Vista at 37.5, and that was the first largest acquisition. We're doing everything we can as fast as we can. You've heard me say before, I'm quoting Mike Bloomberg, because that's who I first heard the line from, in this business, the days are long and the years are short. But we know one thing, we're in a crisis mode. We can't do it fast enough. So to the extent we can do that, and as he mentioned, we've got 10 properties, city-owned land already bought that was sitting there unoccupied, out for requests for proposals. We will build on those as fast as we can. We have Bill 7 in play, incentivizing private landowners to build, of which we've got about 40 projects in the pipeline, and we've developed 5 or 6 of them. The private activity bond business, the city wasn't in that business for 23 years. I can't tell you how much money we had to invest just with bond counsel to finally learn how to do that. And Stanford Carr was a great guiding light in that effort, but we try to draw down on the expertise. We've now already dispersed almost $240 million, another $140 million going out there. We came in, we found the affordable funds lapsing. There were lapsed, almost 40 some odd million, that nothing was being done with. We got those monies out into the developing community, into their financial stacks to help facilitate development. We're doing everything as fast as we can. The biggest thing, the biggest achievement of this moment is we are now in a mode where we know what we're doing, we have the capability of doing it, and we're going to execute. If there's anything you take away from this, it's about execution. I wish we could build a housing complex like this in a weekend, but we all know we can't do that, all right? But we're going to do as much as we can. I think what we're doing for the city right now is creating a capability that was not there. That's not easily done, especially on a major effort like housing, which is already complicated enough to begin with, and how things interact with the state, and the city and the state having different ground rules, which to me was mind-numbing, which we're also changing. There's a lot of work we're doing, and the council's helping us. Kevin mentioned 3 different bills. We're trying to change rules. Look at the UHERO report on why housing hasn't happened. Look at how overregulated we are as a state, more than any other state by multiples. We're trying to overcome all of that. So I'm really proud of the fact we've got ourselves now in a position where we could start to execute on very real projects that will make a very real difference to the future of this place. That was not easily done. And that's much more than policy. This took a lot of bold, innovative thinking and decision-making, and we're here, and I'm excited about it. In the development community, we are going to support. And DPP will no longer be a barrier to entry. And we're going to move as aggressively as we can. Even Bill 6 on self-certification, which we really hope to be able to put through, is going to enable the architects and planners to start to build, perhaps with inspectors on site, but not holding them up from doing it. Okay? So this is a long time in the making. For me, as mayor at this point in time, looking at projects and situations like this that really were dysfunctional for decades, and nothing was being done with it, has been mind-numbing for me. The fact we were able to overcome all of that is significant, and I hope that you take that away. So, I don't want to take any thunder away, but I want you to know I'm really fired up about this, because you know what? It means so much to people. I can't remember when I first learned the word out-migration, but I can promise you it is in my daily vocabulary now. It is of profound importance for us. This is about economic survival. This isn't just building houses. There's a lot at stake here. Okay? All right, thank you.